Ahead of schedule for once. Welcome everybody to Phil's Corner. Welcome to the classic Tuesday evening activity of eBay football shirt shopping. Finding football shirts on eBay, finding bargains, finding potentially a lot of fakes, sadly, because that is what you get, but hopefully a few good stuff as well. Enjoying the ride, learning about shirts as we go along. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to Andre. Again, I don't know why, something wrong with my Streamlabs. Your message isn't appearing in the chat window, Andre, but I can see it in the main box. So finally get a chance to catch one of these. Been a while. Hope you've been well. Thank you, Andre. That's very kind of you, mate. Yeah, I've been okay. Yeah, I've just been for a session of squash. I recently started playing squash once a week, which is good because one, I need to do the exercise, and it's a new challenge for me. I have no previous experience of any racket sports, so yeah. But that's a fun life update. But otherwise, doing okay. Hope you're well too, mate. And indeed, for anyone who's just tuning in, welcome, warm welcome to the channel. We are basically here just to shop on eBay and enjoy that together. eBay is a funny place. It gives and it takes away. You know, on its best day, I mean, I've certainly got some of my favorite ever purchases from eBay. Some of my high value shirts have come from eBay. Equally, it is a bit of a mess sometimes, so we'll enjoy that. We'll enjoy the highs and lows together. I always say this as well, but usual YouTuber stuff, but I do really appreciate any likes on the video if you enjoy it. If you enjoy it tonight, leave a like. You can leave a comment as well, although there is of course the chat facility as well, whichever is great. And please subscribe as well, because subscribers are, you know, the foundation of any channel, but it really does help the channel grow. I've got some exciting announcements about the channel. I'll tease it and I'll share more with my patrons. I do have a patron as well, you can check that out. But basically, guys, I'll give you a little spoiler. We're going to be going back to what Phil's Corner used to be like, with the regular Phil's Corner kind of magazine style shows. But I'll share more with my patrons this week. They get all the kind of juicy details first, and I'll share more with the rest of you probably sometime next month. But yeah, stuff's coming, guys. Stuff is coming. But for now, I mean, it's only just gone 8 o'clock, so people might be filtering in still, but we will jump in because I don't want to waste any time. We don't want to miss out on any deals because stuff might go as we're talking. So let's jump in. A reminder again as well, do stick in anything in the chat, any comments, any questions. I'll be happy to answer them, and if I can't, someone in chat will be able to. Right, let's just go straight in. Football shirt ending soonest. It's a funny way to do it. I really like this keeper shirt here. I mean, you can feel the kind of the weight of that, can't you? This era for Umbro, or indeed for any brand, the shirts were typically pretty heavy. Although I don't have much experience with the keeper kits, actually, to be fair. I'm kind of expecting pads, but I can't see pads there. But anyway, nice pick up there. I mean, 20 quid plus delivery. That's not too bad, is it really? Looking at the condition as well, looks pretty decent. With felt kind of style sponsors like this, there's always a bit of it catches the fluff pretty easily. But that's a nice pickup there. I mean, that's just straight off the bat. Keeper shirts, it's funny, you typically don't pay as much for a keeper kit unless it's a really sought after design. But that's obviously quite generic. I assume that was just an Umbro template from that era, but I really like that. This to me is the bread and butter of eBay. 20 quid for a shirt that's 23 years, as if I need to do the maths, 23 years old. Oh gosh. Very nice. As I've been talking, there's been other stuff that's ended. Sometimes it's interesting just to see what's actually had a bid as well, even if I'm not going to buy something. So this Sheffield United shirt, nothing too exciting, but you can see there a couple of bids, 16 quid. I'd always say, guys, whenever you're shopping on eBay, that's a hot look at that sponsor. My goodness, that is absolutely dreadful. just the colours and everything. Anyway, I'd always recommend, guys, as you're shopping, it's worth paying attention to particularly listings that have ended with bids, just to help get an idea of what what the market's like. So you can see here that's an interesting anecdote for me, or kind of snapshot for me. Okay, so that shirt, that price feels about where it should be. Typically, so like a shirt like this, am I right in saying Sheffield United were in League 1 or they're in the Championship? I don't know, whichever league they're in. But Championship, League 1, League 2 shirts, you tend to get them around this price at the end of season sales anyway, and they don't really kind of go up in value much. So that feels about right. But it's kind of worth checking. And obviously, if you've got shirts that you might want to sell, you can kind of use that as a bit of a benchmark. This is a really cool sweatshirt here, and honestly, oh man, we missed out here. Okay, again, because I was talking too much. This is the sad reality. That would have been an easy pickup. Even a 30 quid sweatshirt. It's a very simple sweatshirt, but this is from quite a nice set of England shirts with the anniversary crest. So that's another. To be honest, again, I definitely would have bid for that price. XL, don't mind a sweater in XL. A very nice pickup again. 30 quid. Like, this goes on classic football shirts. I mean, it's always expensive at classic football shirts, but that goes on there easily 80 quid, probably more at classic. Like, I feel like I need to justify myself now, but let's have a look. They might not have this particular one. Come on. Okay, no, that's not what we're after. Although, nice pick up there with 20 quid. What are we looking for? Let's go by year. Brock says, does Hummel use product codes? I'm having trouble finding info online, just trying to make sure shit isn't fake. From memory, I honestly would have to double check. Have I got a shirt here? I've not got a Hummel shirt behind me. Off the top of my head, I actually don't know, Brock. What I would say is, I've not seen, over the years, I've not seen many fake Hummel shirts, or at least it's one of those where the logo especially should be the most obvious tell. Feel free to send it over in, you can DM me or whatever, and I can have a look, mate. Right, we're just looking, so what era was this? This was like, was that 2012 or was that 2014? 2013-14. So I don't think they'll have the sweatshirt, to be fair. But it's worth a quick look. So you can see the shirt. I mean, depending on condition. Oh, you gotta love classic. They're using exactly the same picture. But anyway, that's their problem. Yeah. Anyway, great pickup. Like, not crazy, but definitely below we'd expect to pay for it on the market. Right. Again, we're being so distracted that I'm probably missing out on loads of good deals. Andre says, don't think the old ones do, not sure about the new ones. Yeah, off the top of my head, I honestly can't say conclusively. In my head, they did have some sort of code, or there might be something on the label. I'll have to check. I should know, really, shouldn't I? But alas, I do not. Right, guys. What else have we got? Supposedly a Paul Konchesky match one shirt. Now, it does have a little certificate, and this is one thing which is often missing. That doesn't look like Paul Konchesky though. Is that actually, unless I'm completely forgetting what he looked like. Yeah, is that actually him? Maybe that's him when he was younger. Anyway, I was gonna say answer on the postcard, but yeah, there you go. Maybe that is him. Just before he went grey. Anyway, I digress. It's when you're buying supposedly match worn stuff. I'm certainly no expert. I don't have many shirts that are match worn. So other people will be able to speak more to this, but I would definitely encourage you to ask for some sort of authenticity certificate, because at the end of the day, if you don't have one, you have to, I would typically treat a shirt without a certificate of authenticity as, being like a kind of player issue shirt. Without that certificate, it significantly impacts the value. You've got to think if, not that you would necessarily plan to sell it on, but I think that's the important thing to think about. You might be happy to take the risk and willing to take a punt, but without any sort of obvious provenance or obvious proof of where it's come from, it is going to be, you won't be able to shift it if you did want to sell it. And equally, even if you wanted to keep it, it's a shame. You're spending a lot of money. In that case, what was it, 200 plus quid the guy was asking for? So always ask for certificates, guys. Always ask if it's supposedly match one. Wrexham, of course. It's amazing how even shirts from a few years ago now, again, a lot of bids, and it is just incredible. I'm fully expecting one. I mean, Macron are obviously pretty decent manufacturer, but I'm expecting an Nike or Adidas to jump in there very soon. I'm sure they're already banging on the door. This is a fun shirt here. Not one I'd probably bid for at this price. I don't know much about Guangzhou Zhangmu. They don't even come up. Maybe it's Zhangmu. Okay. Possibly they've had a rebrand. Speaking of Classic Football shirts before, I know Classic had a range of Korean shirts. It must have been a few years ago now, but and I can't remember if this was in it, but they certainly had a series of really decently priced, reasonably priced shirts. I can't remember, this might have been in it, but it's very nice shirt. 26 quid. It's more than I'd pay for it. I don't think it's that exciting, but it's something I've not seen before. Couldn't tell you anything about the team, but speaking of Hummel, it can't be too bad. I'm quite biased though. Right, what else have we got? That's a very boring Benfica shirt, and also at that price, not too keen. Here we go, some activity on a Boa shirt. From Killer Kits, who we've definitely looked at before. We can see that we visited his page before. Classic Boa shirt with Ravanelli on the back as well. Now, assuming that was the original name set, that's a really nice item. I mean, it's not one I'll go in for, but that price seems very good for that shirt. Now, again, what we'd like to do whenever we're looking at a shirt. Seb, good to see you, Seb. It has been a long time. Hope you're well too, mate. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. No, it's good to see a decent number of us tonight, guys. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Do say hi in the chat if you're lurking. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so this Boa show, guys, this is genuinely one of the kind of one of the weirdest, ugliest designs. However, it's so bad it's good. I mean, it looks so weird. The way that the array logo is where the crest would typically be, and it's pushed the crest, which is on the sleeve, which is a very 90s thing. Of course, you think of like Juve, who had a few kits like that, and a few others. But the kind of pixelated design, which feels very much of its time, it's kind of forming across. It's got everything, and it's unbelievably clunky, and I think in that sense quite charming. I'm sure this would be going for more than that price. I mean, obviously there's still plenty of time to go, but we'll do a quick. This is a classic thing lads do. Just check the big sites, vintage. I mean, if a listing is sold, obviously that this could have been from several years ago. So, but classic there 150. That's more what I'd expect. Now, obviously, classic you had to kind of knock off at least 20%, maybe even 25, 30%, maybe more. I would say probably about 80 quid would be a nice spot for this one. Maybe a bit less, but I think particularly with the name set, and obviously Ravanelli, bit of a cult status, a cult figure. So this to me is a nice pickup. Again, I won't go for it myself, but we're gonna see what happens with this one. I mean, just quickly on here, getting good signals out of that name set, being essentially the same style. So I think this one looks very good. XL, so the size is a bit on the big side, but still within the kind of like anything between small and XL, I'd say is in terms of price, you'd expect to pay a reasonable amount. Medium and large commands a little bit more usually, but that's just honestly, that to me is a really good pickup for that price. I'm curious to see what this goes for. Again, I would say, I mean, even as much as 90, 100 quid, I think isn't a bad price. I mean, let's look at the condition. Maybe I'm getting a bit carried away. That looks pretty good to me. I mean, I can't tell if it's the lighting or if there's a bit of discoloration. I think it could be my screen as well, to be honest. I honestly like this one. I'm telling you, it again, it's so like ridiculous, but I'm almost tempted. I'm sure it's going to go up. We'll see what happens. Brock, did you see the new MLS Prime Blue shirts? I did. I mean, they honestly look quite nice. I feel like with the Parley shirts, it's kind of like they're, because you get the same design, or sort of two designs, or two kind of primary designs with the different crests and stuff. It's never too exciting. I noted that the design was the same as we looked at it on the Hot Wall, didn't we, last week? Was it Sporting Crystal, the Peruvian team? So I'm guessing Adidas are going to do this for a few of their teams for Earth Day, as well as the MLS clubs. But they look quite nice. I think it's one of the nicer sets of Parley shirts, or Prime Blue, or whatever it's called. So we're just watching this auction go down. 58, obviously a lot could change, but this to me seems like a really nice pickup. Now it's possible I'm getting a bit too excited. Maybe this shirt is actually more common than I realise. But there we go, £64. So that's nice. Not the craziest bargain you'll ever see, but that is absolutely, I would say, a decent pickup. You've got to think of it this way, guys. You pay, not that many people pay RRP for a new shirt, but a new replica shirt, of course, with a name set is a lot more. You're lucky if you're paying 80 quid, say. That's on the cheaper end. Or like a Premier League, for example. So really, I really like that. Like, that is just a great. Again, we weren't in on the auction, but whoever's bought that has got themselves a good deal. That is a ridiculous shirt. One of the craziest, ugliest shirts, I would argue, of the late 90s. Just like everything about it is just weird, and I love it. It's so like off balance. Andy says yes, that barrel shirt. I saw the first time that the crest on the sleeve. What a great shirt! It's a great pickup. I'm just marveling in this deal. It's just really good. Brock says, I think it's funny how it's about conservation and eco-friendly, but they only wear it for a match. Yes, that is a classic issue with our wonderful football shirt industry. Yes, they do love to talk about sustainability and then release 5-6 shirts a year. England top. I don't recall. Is this a goalkeeper kit or is this a leisure wear top. I mean, at a quid. I'm assuming this is just a leisure wear. I'd have to actually look. We won't go in for it, but Andre and Andres. So Andre first. Kitbag has been my favourite episode recently to pick up some cool kits, find some bangers sometimes at decent prices. You do, and Andre, if you do shop at Kitbag, feel free to use one of my affiliate links. So the best way, if you go to my Twitter, again, no extra cost to you. It just helps me out a little bit. I get a very small cut of any sales. Just find the latest post that I've made about Kitbag, basically, or search my username in Kitbag. That'd be appreciated. No stress either way. But yeah, nice one. And Andreas says, hi Phil, I'm currently in the Netherlands until the end of the month. I will be attending the Go Ahead Eagles game tomorrow. Very nice. Andreas, I need to pick up a Go Ahead Eagles shirt one day, because that's one of those teams that they're like my Football Manager team. I've not played Football Manager for a long time, but Andre, the Twitter is just my name, Phil Delves. Nice one, mate. This Barca shirt, really another nice pickup. Like, again, I'm not going to go in for it, but I mean, this is. Am I right in saying this is when they won the Champions League? I mean, they obviously were just great in this time. I don't know why I'm checking, because we know it's this era. I think were this medium or L, I'd probably slide in at this kind of price. But that is just another... Like, I'm telling you guys, I know eBay has its faults. eBay absolutely has its problems. But this is just... like, and obviously we'd need to check it was real. That looks okay. The swoosh looks good. Obviously this is a prime candidate for a fake. Nothing about that screams fake to me. Maybe that swoosh is a bit bendy, but I don't think that looks pretty good to me. Honestly, if you had to ask me, I'd say that was real. If it was fake, you could send it back. Anyway, great. Look, 25 quid. There's 30 quid all in, but that's just a classic Barca shirt. Again, eBay is alive and well. Well, I wouldn't say it's well. It is absolutely chock full of fakes, but it. That's after the Boa shirt. What I mean, again, we've not been going in on these auctions, but don't take that as a sign of me thinking it's not a good deal. They are good deals. It's just I don't have a limitless pot, so I've got to pick and choose my battles. But love it. Brad says, I have that with Messi name set. Absolute stunner. I think Messi broke the record for goals in the calendar year. Ah, yes. I always forget because obviously he was just amazing at this time. And there's a few which blend into one, but this is absolutely one of the kind of particular standout ones, I think, with that yellow or gold collar. It's beautiful. It's just textbook. Obviously, I think Nike at this era as well, they sort of not necessarily very daring from a pattern perspective or anything like that, but actually the shirts have aged quite well, and there are quite a few timeless shirts around this era, not just Nike, to be fair. I think this era is actually quite underrated. The early 10s, Adidas were doing some fun stuff with their tech fit, full motion stuff, and there was all that. I think the 2010 World Cup is underrated. Yeah, anyway, great pickup. I'm loving what I'm seeing, even though I've not actually jumped in on an auction. This is we love Taylor Bunbury here at Phil's Corner. No bids on that one, which 18 quid. It's a nice deal, but obviously not too sought after. Right. This is another one. This is another one which probably could have deserved a bid. I do quite enjoy this. Again, we're missing out because I'm talking too much, but hey, it's all good. Interesting to note, this appears to be player spec as well, based on the number. Very nice pick. At that price, so 36 quid. It's a really good deal. And it is I think this particular Juve shirt was really cool. Playing heavily on the zebra theme. Like, this is, I think, again, missed it because I've been talking, but eBay is looking good tonight. I really like this Benfica shirt, but I don't like it at that price. It's a very kind of boxy fit, but I think that colourway is really interesting. It's kind of maroon and kind of stone bay. I'd call that stone, but maybe it's hard to tell with the lighting. Really nice pickup. If that was, half the price, it would be an easy bid. Obviously, that would be a bit of a bargain. 75 quid, I'd say that's a bit more than you'd want to pay for it. But just noting my appreciation for that colourway. Bit unusual, but I do like it a lot. Man, it's been a lot of good stuff. And again, I've been too busy chatting to actually go in on any bids, any auctions. But yeah, let's try and get ahead of the game. Hope you're all well there, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy this. Leave a comment as well on the video. That always helps if you do enjoy the content. And please subscribe if you're new. Maybe you've stumbled in through Twitter. It would mean a lot. Thank you. Just a quick note on late 90s Adidas. The jock tags that Adidas did were just so good, and it's probably never been beaten, I would argue, in terms of a brand wide like jock tags. I'm gonna tweet about this tomorrow, I think. It just was just an area of the shirt which just looked really good. And I think it was all the major Adidas shirts. I certainly recall like the international shirts had it. I think it was, and it just like they were just nicely designed. You've got like, it was an actual bit of material on the shirt, like a little patch. It just looks really good, and it's a silly thing, but it was just genuinely like, if you want to see some good shirt details, just look at late 90s Adidas. Check out the bottom left or bottom right. It was bottom left in this case. Yeah, Seb says those jock tags are so decided. They are, aren't they? And it's such a funny detail, but like I could genuinely just talk about this for a minute, I say minutes, hours probably, knowing me. But it's it's such a small thing, but it's the kind of quality touch which often modern shirts are missing. And I sound like an old, bit of an old man here, but it's something which genuinely you'd love to see again, and especially from the big names. Just any kind of thing like this goes a long way, and even a relatively plain shirt like this. I mean, this, to be honest, is actually just a good pickup. Although it is XXL, so that's probably a big part of the reason the price is actually as low as it is. And it's not the most exciting Spurs shirt, but I mean, most Spurs home shirts aren't that exciting. So yeah. Anyway, jock tags great on this era. This is, I mean, look at this, an Umbro training shirt going for 3 figures. Now this speaks to a number of things. One, it's just an amazing era for United gear. Umbro United, the Umbro taping, you've got Sharp. Obviously they were having some success. I think just, again, you see this with like, let's say Adidas Liverpool stuff from a few years before this. Again, those kind of sweet spots where brands and clubs just, they hit a moment from an aesthetic perspective, which can just be like the perfect storm. I mean, Liverpool, they weren't like they were winning many trophies in the Adidas era, or that I should clarify. But again, the training gear, the sweatshirts just fly off the shelves at high prices, fly off the virtual eBay shelves, I should say. So there you go. Like that is just impressive for a training shirt, and this is the kind of stuff which obviously would have been pretty cheaper than a match shirt, of course. But it is just really good. I mean, it looks good, and the condition's pretty nice. It's not it's surprising in the sense that wow, training shirts go for 100 quid, but actually, this is one of those really nice, nice eras. Much better than the plastic Umbro ones that turn to mush in the wash. Indeed, Seb, indeed. And there you go. They've also got the black version, this seller. So, I mean, if I was a United fan, I would be, even at the price, I would definitely be considering it. Looks like they've got a range of United stuff, some retro stuff, so some remake stuff. Sorry. Get yourself a nice locker as well if you like. Gilet, got all sorts. Bibs, pretty fun. But that's just great. Again, just out of interest sake, I'm going to watch this to see what that goes for. But I like it. I like it a lot. It's been an interesting thing. I think, you know, the kind of the training wear market is definitely. I mean, it's always been there, but it feels like it's kind of solidified itself, or at least stuff which, you know, maybe might have slipped through the cracks a few years ago, just simply isn't now. This is really cool, but it is a remake. I was going to say that would be definitely one to get involved with, but it is just a retro shirt, but kind of very Reebok, that design, isn't it? Yeah, it's 102 quid. That's great. I mean, fair play. It's a really nice. It's just a really good training shirt, isn't it? Umbro have kind of been in a bit of a rut recently. They had such a good year. Was it? I want to say 2018. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong year. When they really kind of were looking like they were getting back to their best, and they've kind of just steadily slipped back into the pack. And if anything, brands like Macron and others have overtaken them again. It's a similar story with like New Balance, showed a lot of promise, I would say, and they again just haven't. I mean, unfortunately, you've got brands like Castor who are just not enjoying their shirts. Basically, there's another training shirt. This is a Wolves one, so this isn't. You know, I mean, it's great. It's a great sweatshirt, training shirt, classic colorway as well. And there you go, that's going 50 quid. So this ended up £112. I mean, honestly, that is about right. Probably, it's certainly below what you'd pay elsewhere at your big retailers. So, yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Been a lot to talk about, even though I haven't put in any bids. Pleasure Island, what a great sponsor there. that is pretty good. Yeah, lots of activity. Here we go, guys. So this is one to take a closer look at. I've got a lot of love for Parma shirts. I don't have many in my collection, but some of the ones I do are some of my favourites. And I actually did used to have one of these, the home of this season, in long sleeve, but it was a bit small for me, so I actually did sell it on. Now there is some fair bit of wear there, but not enough to put me off. I mean, the thing is, especially because I don't even wear a lot of my shirts, this one seems like one we're going to go in for, at least at this price. Obviously, with 10 minutes to go, it could jump up a lot. But in my mind, if we can get this for under 50, like, just my initial thought is, if we can get this under 50 quid, I think I'll be happy. But let's do some research. This is what we like to do. We like to basically now essentially just try and find this shirt elsewhere. What I'm trying to establish is, what is the market value for the shirt? Because sometimes even a vintage shirt might actually not be worth as much as you think, simply because it's quite available. Why am I such an old? We're already on old football shirts, and things like that. So we're looking at the 1995 away, and I like to use old football shirts. You can use different sites, but this is just my favourite resource. Yeah, so that well, I mean, the first thing is it real? Now we can establish that it probably is based on the seller. That label looks good, so I think it's real. Again, there is a fair bit of bobble in there. Interesting Velcro on the collar. I think that is just what the collar is like. So I'm just going to look at Killer Kits. We've definitely looked at them before. Yeah, they've got a lot of stuff in. They've got. Hang on a minute. There could be a few auctions we're going in for tonight, right? Yeah, they've got this is XL, so not our ideal size, but another shirt which I would. Okay, so here we go. I mean, this is obviously a classic. Slovakia, man. Okay, well, two shirts to look at. This Inter shirt, again, obviously we'd expect the price to go up quite a bit. Anyway, One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Parma. We've got 8 minutes to go. Let's try and find the Parma 1995 away shirt. There's nothing really special about what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to find it. Classic football shirts. Of course, you have to knock the price down significantly. You can see here as well. This is what a fake of the shirt looks like. I can tell that just from the price. That's a ridiculous attempt at a shirt. So, I mean, just straight up classic one for 175. It's a ridiculous price. In my head, this is definitely more like the kind of 80 quid to 100 range. Maybe a bit more, but I mean, in this condition, I think certainly it's obviously not in top spec. You can see the wear there. It's nothing crazy, but it's definitely, again, I think probably, to be honest, even at 50 quid, I'd be like, oh, it's not. I'd rather pay a bit less. But if I had to give it market value, I'd say in this condition, probably about 70 quid, maybe a bit more. But this is immediately kind of, okay, we're in the really nice range here. I should note as well, any long-term viewers will know this, but of course, as I'm discussing price, you're more than at liberty to snipe me and outbid me. Please do. I don't think it's quite happened yet on stream. I've been like waiting for the moment where basically I enter an auction, someone puts it to the post, and then gloats about it in chat. We've not had that yet, so yeah, that'll happen at some point. Before I go on as well, Seb says, do you think people are moving on to more training shirts as they're priced at regular shirts? It's an interesting point, Seb. I think there probably is a bit of that. I would say as well, though, with training shirts, they tend to be, because they tend to be a bit kind of simpler, they're quite wearable. And in some ways, I think the training shirts, because they tend to be less faffy with like collars as well and stuff like that. Honestly, I think sometimes they are simply just more desirable as a kind of regular wear item compared to shirts, which can be a bit, depending on the era, can be bulkier, and then you factor in the price, like you say. So I think that is a consideration, and it's a really interesting point actually, which I hadn't really considered, but I think you're probably right, along with some other factors. Right, anyway, so this again, I think we don't want to go crazy because of the condition, but I like Parma. They're one of those teams which I'm quite partial to. This is a particularly good shirt, I would say. This template that the Puma had was really cool. They had it for a few teams. It's definitely one I'll go for. At least, I mean, again, if you were being optimal, I would say wait till the end. Before you bid. Of course, that's better. But because I'm impatient. And again, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but I'm going to stick in a bit of 36 quid. Let's see if we're outbid. We have been. That's completely fine. So if we can get this for under 45, I'm going to be really happy. And to be honest, even more than that, 50, 60 quid wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But we won't go crazy. I think I'd probably stretch to 50, maybe just over 50. So we'll wait. We'll be patient. We'll wait. And then we'll come into this Inter shirt, which again has some condition concerns, but I do, again, into a team. I don't really have an Italian team particularly, but I'm quite partial to both Inter and Parma. Two Italian teams, but again, there is quite a bit of wear. Nothing crazy, I think again at that price, I'd still be interested. And despite, with condition, guys, if things like the crest are intact, I'm really happy. I can kind of live more with the sponsor being a bit cracked. The crest is, I think, for me, even sponsor as iconic as Pirelli is important. Ballum says, I can't believe it, no way. Red Star, Paris are 4 points off top with 5 matches to go. They're so close so far. Yeah, I've been following Ballum. I've been really kind of tracking their results. And I must say, I've been really hoping they get promoted because it would just be so cool to have had a very, very small part in the season. But it's going to be tough. I can't remember is it the top 2 go up, I think? Or maybe, I can't remember what the promotion situation is in their league. But yeah, it's going to be tough. I think that their form has dropped in the last couple of months overall. So it's going to be, I think the last I looked anyway, it'd be tough. They're going to have, rely on the teams above them dropping points. But good to see you back, Adam. Good away win for Liverpool. Yes, it was. Yeah, I actually watched the game. I don't watch many games these days, like from start to finish. But yeah, I was watching with a friend. Yeah, it was good fun. I mean, Leeds were pretty hapless. And I must say, I didn't enjoy, even though I'm a Liverpool fan, Trent's, I don't think it was too deliberate, but the way he kind of, it looked like he sort of stuck his elbow out on the goal, didn't it? And if I was a Leeds fan, I would have been absolutely fuming. But hey, I mean, in the end, it didn't matter too much, did it? But yeah, well, at least we're not quite dead. Yeah, I'd be amazed if we actually. I don't think top 4 is going to happen, but I'd like to think they'll keep it interesting. And yeah, I'm a kind of a perennial optimist, so I'm not actually too stressed about the situation. I probably should be more, but I'm happy to wait and see how things play out. Right, we're kind of just wasting time, aren't we? But we'll wait. I don't want to miss the end of this auction. But yeah, hopefully, guys, and again, long-time viewers will know the deal. But I'm really keen to kind of showcase, like, it's not rocket science. It's just about, my process is like I think anyone else is really, in terms of trying to establish, like, it's hard to, like, people ask me all the time, how much is a shirt worth? And the market is so fluid. Obviously, there's a wide range that any shirt will fall into in terms of value. You've got to consider size, condition, etc. But it's amazing that, again, the sort of prices that, I mean, classic, the usual caveat, they charge a lot more. But just from this basis alone, you can say that a shirt in top condition is easily worth 3 figures. At least this shirt, I mean. Now, in this condition here, it's more like a 70, 80 quid. Again, market value, maybe a bit less. But, it's in a good size. And again, I would say 70 quid would be a good price. Or like what I'd expect to see this listed on. Maybe 80 quid, to be fair. Classic, I think, have really overshot there personally. But anyway, right, as the countdown reaches a minute, again, I think if we can get it for 50, I'm going to be happy. We could easily be outbid. I'm kind of expecting to be outbid, but we'll go in for it. We will see what happens. But it says top 2. Do you see 2 Milan teams will progress in Champions League and we'll have an all Milan semi-final? Are you going to Milan San Siro? I would love to do that. Fun fact, my wife's actually she's in Lake Como of all places, a trade show, which is cool. So she's currently enjoying that. I was tempted to tag along with her and maybe try and get to a game, but alas, I've not been able to. Right, let's stick in 51 quid. Already been outbid. Now that honestly is fair. We'll walk away, even though this is a good price for the shirt. I'd really love to go more, but again, I don't want to get stuck into a bit more. Good price for the shirt, though. Good price for the shirt. I would say, even with the condition, that's an excellent pickup for someone. It's been honestly, eBay is really delivering. Again, we've not actually got a shirt ourselves. It ended up going 56 quid. Okay, so I feel a bit better there. That is a good price. That is absolutely like below market value, I would say. Not by much, but definitely a good pickup. I mean, just look at it. It's, again, different condition, but that is, what was that? More than 3 times the price. So this is it, guys. I'm telling you, and I don't need to tell most of you, but eBay is the place to go still. I'm not saying it's the only place, but it is, it's really good. It's really good for bargains, despite the frustrations with fakes and everything, and there are a lot, and you have to sift through a lot of crap, but stuff does appear. It's bargain hunting low key. Well, that's what I like to do, Ballum. I'm not going to go crazy. There's definitely a few auctions tonight which I think have been really good, even though we've not picked up any shirts. But yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes I won't lie. Sometimes you do. Yeah, and obviously you've seen it on the streams, guys. Sometimes you kind of go and you think, there wasn't too much there to kind of sink your teeth into. But tonight there's been multiple like really good pickups. Nothing insane, but like that Palmer shirt is just really, really nice price. And there's Seb says, I find the stuff I get on eBay when careful is better quality than Vinted. That's interesting, Seb. There's definitely been a lot of discussion about eBay versus Vinted. I think I take a similar process or approach for both the platforms. It's definitely one of the things where I think Vinted entering the scene a bit more is good. It's good for the market. It's good to have that competition. So it's definitely an interesting one. I think eBay, just because it's bigger, you've got a bit more just from sheer volume to sift through. There's pros and cons to that. Now this is interesting. This is of course a classic shirt, and based on the pictures here, I don't actually know if I can say conclusively if this is real or not. So, but we are going to do some research, because of course, if this is real, this is an absolute like stone cold classic. Nothing there puts me off, but again, we're going to need to do some research, and the timing is good, so we can sneak that in at the end of the stream. Before we go any further, this Intershirt, let's have a look, because that to me seems like a really good price. Let's see. We'll do the same thing again, guys. We will literally try and find the Inter 2003 home shirt. And we'll see what we can find. Now, again, good old classic football shirts. That's a sold listing at 60 quid. They've got one with a Cobra, same size, 150 quid. Now, of course, the names, it does add quite a bit there. And the condition on this one is quite a lot worse. I mean, I'd go as far to say this is... the sponsor is quite worn. There is significant marks on the front. You could probably get away with saying good. I mean, I must say, it's a good sign when a seller... I said you could get away with good. You wouldn't feel great if you then received it. And the seller has just quite straight up said poor used. Honestly, respect. It'd be easy to kind of just sneak it in and say, oh, it's good. And again, I kind of expected it to be listed as good. You get it from Classic, they'll probably say very good. So I've been throwing a lot of shade at Classic, but they can take it. But yeah, so respect. It is definitely in unoptimal, suboptimal condition. However, at this price, I don't think I can ignore it. I mean, again, we'll just try and find some of the examples. So, Classic 11. I think from memory, these guys are legit. They just have a terrible website, but I might be thinking of someone else. You can see here XL, 60 quid. So I think with this one, if we can sneak in and get it for like 25 quid, I'm going to be happy. It's one of those where, again, I think XL is not ideal, and the condition is pretty rough. But overall, it feels like, for me personally, when I'm buying shirts, one, I'm not wearing a lot of them anyway, and I don't mind having shirts in slightly worse condition. It's the kind of thing where I probably would end up wearing shirts like this a bit more because it's already a bit damaged. And sometimes, guys, you get a shirt in hand and it just fits really well. And again, the condition is kind of I think, depending on the nature of the damage, isn't always a deal breaker. And I think with this one, I can live with this. If the crest, like I've seen quite a few of these, because Inter had this kind of really interesting embroidered rubber combo crest. On some of these, like the actual letters in the crest are damaged, and that to me is more of an issue. Yes, the Pirelli sponsor is pretty cracked. You would be worried when you put it through a wash. Of course, you take the usual precautions and do it a kind of a cold wash and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I think I'm just going to stick in 25 quid. And we'll see, it could easily be a bid, but we're just going to stick him. There we go. So 25.50. I'll be happy with that. Not crazy, and again, the condition is what it is, but at that price, honestly, it's a shirt which fills a gap in the collection, and I'll be happy to get it at that price. We will see what happens. Brad says, you report anything from Classic that is in worse state than listed, Phil? So Brad, I definitely have, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. So I used to shop at Classic quite a bit. Certainly in my early days, it was, and it's still great for the occasional pickup, but certainly I was buying from them, semi-regularly when I was starting to collect. What was the shirt? It was like a Norway. What was it? I want to say under 17 shirt. It was a really weird. It was basically like a Norway shirt. Sorry, for one of their youth teams. And that had a lot more bubbling than it was implied on the listing. Now, it wasn't a big deal, but between a few things like that and just from seeing other people as well, and I even joked, and it is a bit of a running kind of meme, but I think in terms of like what Classic, well, there's two sides to it. I think it's not just those situations, it's the fact that Classic then just use the same picture for shirts of different condition and don't show the damage. It's just, that to me is just really sloppy, and they can get away with it. They're kind of too big to kind of to have any problems with that, but it honestly it does rub me up the wrong way, I won't lie. Right, guys, now we've still got 24 minutes to go on this one. I am very interested to, firstly, let's try and establish if this is real, and if it is real, I mean, obviously the price is it should really increase, because it is one of those shirts, again, if it is original as is implied. Some marks on the shirt, looks like paint but not very noticeable. Please see attached photos. So let's have a look at the photos. Let's have a bit of a slideshow. Okay, so there are some marks there, so that is, and again, they're off colour, so it's definitely notable. It's not the worst thing in the world though. I mean, overall, again, yeah, the marks are there. But okay, fine. So that's that. Of course, we need to now just try and find some more pictures. Let's try and find some pictures of the shirt elsewhere. Not fake shirts. Of course, it's not going to be available many places simply because it is, and again, more fake shirts. Here we go. Cult football. Yeah, there's a few t-shirts. We're not interested in those. Here we go. TSP and Calcio. So we got our bid on the Inter. That's okay. To be honest, that's another 25 quid to put towards this shirt. So I'm like, hang on, this could be legit. Balance says, how long has stream since it's always been allowed? Do you think the company brand classic football shirts will stay with Burnley in the Premier League? I think they will. I don't see why not. And with the recent announcement about betting sponsors being phased out in a couple of years, people like Classic suddenly become more desirable, I think, or at least they have more of a place at the table, simply, and other companies as well. So it's definitely one where I don't see any reason why Burnley would move off from them, unless it is a money thing. But yeah, so if it's too good to be true, yeah, this is the thing. I'm trying to hold back because I'm getting excited, thinking this could be amazing. We could be getting this for way cheaper. Like straight up, if I could pay like 120 quid, for example, I'd be really happy if I knew this was an original. But let's just do our due I can't even say due diligence, whatever it is. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, guys. So the first things first, we need to. I mean, there's not much else to say other than just. I mean, the label's a big one. So, got the trefoil, got the 3 stripes, and there's a few quirks to some of this because sometimes, of course, You have like Japanese market versions or South American market versions. Sadly, the exposure here is so high, or maybe the label's so worn that we can't actually get a look at the label there. It is a better situation with cult football here, and that is, you know, broadly the same. The writing has worn quite a lot more. I mean, if we actually just did this, that would make more sense. You can see here, yeah, I mean, that looks to be the same. That's okay. That's good. That's good. Let's do a few more comparisons. Now let's try and look at, for example, the kind of crest or the Adidas logo. Again, if we were to do some comparisons, let's have a look. What have we got? Okay, so you can see it's fully embroidered. That's an important note, and it is there as well. I'll tell you what, guys, it's looking good. It's looking good. I don't want to get carried away, but thank you. Yeah, due diligence. I don't know why I can't say that. Due diligence. Dear me. You wouldn't think I'm English, would you? Yeah, in Spain, Germany, don't have sponsors. It's good. England finally did that. Have more standard charge sponsors. Probably. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, of course, someone else will fill the void, and it won't necessarily be all good. But it's like, wherever you think about gambling in football, the sponsors were typically some of the worst ones aesthetically. Right. I'm honestly really, like, nothing has put me off so far, and of course, you know, I could just be getting carried away, but everything about this to me matches with other listings we're seeing of the shirt. You know, even the stars, you know, it looks exactly the same. Like the way you see the way this star is going to cut off there, well, that is the same there. And this is kind of weird. So I'm going to say this is real. I'm going to say this is real. Again, there's a lot that I might be missing, but at this point, I'm pretty comfortable going in for, well, let's just say more than the price here. I'm getting excited. We've not had a big auction yet, and again, it could easily skyrocket, you know. But this is one of those shirts which, I mean, again, I've got to be careful because the condition. So again, we're kind of assuming it's real. I'm struggling to see something that would put me off. I'm kind of looking for reasons, you know, to not buy it. Interesting, you can see the damage on the collar there. And this was sold at $375. I mean, what size is XL? Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? Again, if you just ask me straight up, what is the market value of this shirt? In good condition, I would say probably 300 quid, maybe 250. But I think 300 quid is not an unreasonable amount for a shirt like this. Again, you know, it's on here for 290, so but this is a better size as well. So, you know, it's certainly 250. I don't think it's, you know, that's kind of a baseline. In this condition, you'd probably come down a little bit, maybe around 200. But I personally would be very happy paying, you know, if we can get this kind of under 120, I'll be really happy. You know, it's not a cheap pickup, but for this shirt, I'd be more than happy at that price. So we've got 70 minutes. We've got time to think about it. Do a bit more research. So depending on the paint, could be an easy job to remove. Yeah, I mean, he said paint, didn't he, on the listing? I don't know. If it looks more like pen to me, to be honest, or even like grass stains. I mean, that's the thing. I do have to be careful here, and the stains are there, absolutely. But this is the thing, guys. Like, I mean, well, let's try and find it. Let's try and find this. We're looking for. This is the away shirt, of course. The home you can get for much cheaper elsewhere. Yeah, that's cult football again. This must be either a fake or a different. Probably not at that price. It's probably just a different market version. You can see. There will be a lot of fakes for this one, of course, as well. Vintage football shirts. Got a lot of vintage football shirts. Another big seller. They do have a large range of stock. But again, we're looking at the pictures here. Nothing here is shouting fake to me. This honestly, I mean, one thing actually which we've not yet done is let's take a closer look at the seller. Good rated, 100% positive feedback. It sounds funny, guys, but when you see a seller like this and they've only got one listing, that to me is actually a big tick. I'd be more worried if they had, you know, tens and tens, hundreds and hundreds of shirts that are all kind of amazing grails. Because you kind of think, would actually an individual, unless they're a business, and even then you'd kind of be surprised. But this is what you want to see. We've already looked at the description. Nothing bad there. Nothing kind of dodgy. Obviously there. Honestly, guys, I think we're going to be in on this one. Now, again, the price could go anywhere. I mean, I'd expect it to go closer to maybe 180, maybe more. I think 180 for this kind of, considering the marks, would be about right. But if we can get it for less, I'll be very happy. So I think we're going to go for it. Obviously, again, 50 minutes to go, so we'll probably. Again, I don't want to miss this one, so we won't run away from the computer just yet. We will extend the stream, but that's good. And again, those of you who are with us, when was it? Was it over a year ago now when we had the box T90 auction? That was a lot of fun, and that is absolutely that's a shirt which I'll never be parting with. The South Korea T90 shirt. And I was when I received it, I was still wasn't expecting it to be real, but it was, and I'm so happy with that one. This could be a similar thing, I think. So I'm not going to get too carried away, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's going to be hard to think about anything else, but we will just keep checking back. Reverse image sets pictures. Not a bad shout, Seb. Yeah, why not? Why not? If we're going to be aiming to spend, or willing to spend more than £100 on a shirt, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Because a big thing with that is, if you then see the shirt with the exact same picture somewhere else, of course someone can just grab someone else's, old picture. And Google changed this like a year ago or so, and the whole lens, I want to turn that off. I don't like Google Lens, but anyway. Right, so pick click. I think I'm right in saying this is just a scraper for eBay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I was going to say it did come up, but this is I don't know what this site is, but I've come across it before. I think it's some sort of it just scrapes the details, so that's fine. So that's good. It's not a picture that's been found on another site from 10 years ago, or at least according to Google. Again, just for an example of a fake of this shirt, you can see here. I mean, it's just everything. Well, I've seen worse fakes, but the label, of course, the tag, just the shade of blue, the embroidery, lots of warning signs there. Right. Again, guys, you're more than at liberty to jump in to try and get a slice of the American pie, but this is it. I think we're ready. We're ready to jump in. Let's see if we can pick up a bargain. Again, if we can get this for under 120, I'm going to be over the moon. I've not had a big purchase for a while, but I've just sold a few shirts the other week, so I've got a bit of funds for shirts, and this would be great. Now, again, more than that, I think even at 150, it's probably a nice pickup. But as we get above that, whilst it would still be below, well below market value, of course there are the marks. But I mean, to be honest, again, it's still a good price. Like, that's the other thing. Sometimes it's worth checking Twitter actually as well. We can have a quick look at that. USA 1994 shirt. Again, you're not necessarily getting this shirt itself, but it's not. Oh, okay, that's good. So you can see a picture here. Yeah, I mean, looks good. Oh, look at this, a South American version. That looks really cool, actually. It's very, very different. Massive numbers. Wonder how much that went for. That's sold. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh man, it's such a classic. You can see the label is a bit different there, so that's interesting. Could be a different version. This is obviously one area where you do want to be careful, because sometimes even remakes have very similar labels, and this now makes you think, okay, I do need to double check this isn't a remake. It says it's original and the pictures looked like they're original, but it would be worth actually just thinking about it again. When you're spending this much money, you don't want to kind of make any mistakes, and it's worth checking for shirts of this. They often have really kind of high quality retro versions, which are like hard, almost indistinguishable sometimes. So it's worth checking. So we will basically try and find a retro version now. So you can see here, this, I mean, obviously there's a fine line. Sometimes these are just straight up fakes. Obviously you'd kind of expect it to be a fake. Yeah, I mean, these just look like fake shirts, to be honest. Terrible quality picture. Reviews aren't great, although there are some good ones, but anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, really what I want to see is now basically find some fake shirts and then try and establish what the label looks like, because again, that's really helpful. So we're just going to find a few. Some of these, I think they're all fakes. Yeah, so that's obviously just a completely different label. That again is completely different. It's an easy tell, guys, just to have a quick look. And this one, I'm pretty sure it is real, but because it's a bit worn, again, it certainly matched some of the other ones we saw on TSPN, Calcio, and other sites. So I'm still confident. Price has cut up a little bit there. Ballum says, so Milan are winning. Oh man, Napoli. I mean, Napoli should win the league, shouldn't they? I've not actually checked the Serie A table for a while. Yeah, they'll win the league, so that's good for them. Yeah, unless they come back 2-0 though for Milan in aggregate. And who needs the Champions League when it feels kind of life from his house in England? Yes. It's funny because I'm often, well, when we're doing the eBay show especially, it does clash typically with the Champions League. And yet, it honestly means a lot that, I mean, what's it? There's like 20 of us now. Welcome, guys. You're joining at a very exciting time of the stream when we are bidding, or about to bid, on what appears to be an original USA 94 shirt. A classic. Many people's holy grails, or certainly a very talked about shirt. A classic shirt. Probably the most famous or most popular American or US shirt of all time. Some marks on it, but it's, I mean, again, the price, honestly, it could easily go above 200. Like, market value, I would argue, in top condition, I'd say probably 250. Condition like this, it's more like 180 to 200. I would, again, I'm kind of pulling these numbers based on a few things, but it's not, it's not science. But anyway, but we're waiting patiently, and we will jump in absolutely at this price. Of course, if it, I think we're going to go out. Well, I won't tell you exactly how much I'll go up. I mean, one thing as well, I know we did this with the South Korea shirt. I kind of stopped showing you my screen at the very end because again, usually I would just show you what I'm bidding. I think for something like this, when it gets into the three figures, I might be a bit sneakier and change the camera over just as we bid. But I'm sure you can appreciate that, right? But guys, if I don't win this, please can one of you bid on it. I'm not trying to encourage you to bid if you don't want the shirt, obviously. But yeah, I can't really think about anything else. Do you guys get that when you're in an auction and you're like, I can't really focus on, like, I'm too busy checking back? I think we can chat for 5 minutes. For those who are joining late, again, I teased something which I'll say again as a teaser. In short, there's going to be Phil's Corner, from a content perspective, is gonna get a bit more consistent from the summer. I'm gonna kind of recommit in many ways, because again, we've had these streams which have been good, but there's gonna be more videos coming soon. Or at least I'll share more, and I'm gonna share more with my patrons in the Slack. I'll record a video tomorrow or Thursday, guys, for the patrons, and the rest of you guys I'll share later on. But anyway. So this is the auction on tapers. The auction tapers into the waist more than the face, which will have more of a boxy cut. Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, fit is a really a good point. Actually, that is another kind of you're absolutely spot on there. Seb, in that often fakes will just have a very kind of, a clear style which is devoid of any sort of shape. Here's another listing here from Retro Football Kits. Again, a noticeably different collar, which is almost, it could quite easily just be different versions of the shirts. It's kind of a quirk of many shirts of this kind of era. Alex says, Phil, which team do you support? So I support Liverpool, but I kind of have an affinity for several teams, really. But I'm a Liverpool supporter primarily. Growing up, I followed Southend United quite closely. They're my hometown team. Now I live in Huddersfield, so I do go to the occasional Huddersfield game. So that's another team that I'm again. And several teams around the world, I kind of, follow. I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm a supporter, but but yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan. Right, guys, I think the reality is starting to set in. We're seeing it's already gone up to 80 quid. I think as excited as I am about the possibility of getting this shirt, of course, with any shirt of this kind of reputation, it's gonna command interest. Still a really good price. Obviously, anything under 100 quid is amazing. That's just a straight up steal. It's going to be above that, I'm sure. It says, nowhere did I place it on Huddersfield when I was at uni. Really? Well, there you go. Maybe we crossed paths. Yeah, honestly, Huddersfield is my home now. I've been here 11 years, 12 years, coming up to 12 years. Very settled here. I've got a house here, married. I'm really settled into a church in Huddersfield. So there's no I'm in no rush to leave it at all. And I could talk more about this, but I just personally much prefer life up north compared to down south. Obviously, I kind of left here, came here for uni, and it was a different life stage anyway. But I was quite keen to get away from being near London. But anyway, I could talk more about that if you want. But yeah, I Huddersfield itself obviously isn't too exciting, but we're so near places. You're 10 minutes drive, less than that, from amazing scenery. Very easy to get to places like Manchester and Leeds and places. So it's it's good. Right, guys. Before we actually get into a bit, I've teased you, but I'm gonna switch the camera so you can't see what I'm actually gonna bid on. So what price I'm gonna bid. So of course you're very welcome again to jump in with with another bid. But with 2 minutes to go, we've officially entered the auction, and again, unless you can see it through the reflections in my contact lenses, 1 minute 50. We are the highest bidder. A lot can change in a minute 50. I'll come back to you, Jordan, on your comment. So it's exciting. It's been a while since we've been in on a higher end shirt. Again, we I believe this is real. We'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it is. There are some condition kind of, it's not in top condition, but so far so good. A minute to go. I mean, the thing is, it can easily switch. It can easily change. and a minute is a long time on eBay. So I'm refreshing the screen as we speak, but this is what it's all about. There are more important things in life than football shirts, but in the football shirt world, this is about as good as it gets. Especially if we win. If we don't win, it'll be pretty sad. So we're still the highest bidder, but a lot can change. I mean, at this point, I'm starting to get a bit nervous. No, I mean, surprising lack of activity. I think people are just more patient than me. Basically, that's the issue. Let's just. I'm gonna up my bid slightly. Still no activity. Now, it's almost so little that I'm now starting to think maybe this isn't real. Have I just been scammed? Of course, if it isn't real, I'll just send it back. Is there something I'm missing, guys? Okay, someone else is joining. We're good. 93. It's going up. 105. Still 105. We got it. I think we got it. I think we got it. We're determining the winner. I mean, my max bid was more than 120, so yes, we got it. We got it, guys. Here's confirmation. Congratulations. 120 quid. Now, I am pretty happy about that. We'll get the show in person. We'll check it out. But if that is legit, as we think it is, you know, it's not my best bargain ever. You know, like it's a. Well, I'm just gonna say it is a very. I'm stoked about that. You know, probably like maybe not quite half, but again, I would expect to pay much closer to 200 for a shirt like that. Really happy. Really happy. That's a big win. I mean, I think there's not been many bigger purchases on eBay for me there. The South Korea box shirt was pretty bigger, but this is absolutely up there. Love it. That's just a. I mean, I'm just excited. One, I want to make sure it's real, but if I can get this in hand, and that is probably one to keep. You know, it's not one I'd quickly sell. We'll have a look at the condition. Guys, there we go. You've witnessed a big purchase there. I am thrilled at that price, and I'll let you in on the secret. I did have a bid. I went up to about 144, I think was a random number, but and I would have been probably, again, I was kind of expected to go above that if anything, but I'm really happy with that price. Really happy. If we can, again, we'll get it in hand. Seb says, how will you verify it? Honestly, it will be much. I mean, it will literally be. What I'll probably do is, if there's anything I'm not sure about based on just seeing it and comparing pictures, I'll send pictures to a few friends and, you know, sellers who I know are quite reputable, who should be able to help, share some stuff on Twitter, whatever. If we've just snagged that for 120 quid, that is such a steal. I mean, I'm not going to get, you know, again, there's some damage, there's some marks, but yeah, loving it. Jordan, feels better, man. Yeah, congrats on Andreas, major W, nice one. Yeah, guys, this is I'm absolutely thrilled about that. You know, again, the timing was really good for me. I've just sold a bunch of shirts, so I had the funds to go in for this. Because again, that's not an insignificant amount of money, but I'm so like. I mean, and I won't do this because I do want to keep this one, at least for, I say that, I do sell a lot of my shirts, but if I was to sell this, I'd be very comfortable putting this on for about 200 quid, or maybe 180. You know, like that's what I would expect the shirt to be more like. So to get it for 120, that is just, for me, that's an easy, I say easy. It should be easy to spend this much money, but I'm thrilled. Thank you, Andre. Yeah, guys, of course, I will keep you posted. I will. I need to pay for the shirt, so I'll do that. But then I'll. I mean, probably by the time the next eBay stream in 2 weeks, I will. Well, I'll have the shirt and I'll confirm it. I mean, by then I would have shared it on Twitter, I'm sure. Really happy with that. I mean, that's. I mean, it's going to be an easy thumbnail tonight, isn't it? To make for the video. Love it. USA 94, 120 quid. That's just. Yeah. What more do I need to say? It was shaping up like that, you know, like eBay. I was talking it up. There's been some great, like, there has been a lot of good looking auctions, stuff way below market value, and yeah, the best. We saved the best to last. Jordan, I'll get back to your comment. It says, "Hello, lads." Hello, Jordan. I was curious. A local of mine has been doing bits in the football fashion world. What are your thoughts on Virginia Dream FC's kits? Let's have a look, Jordan. Let's have a look. Virginia Dream FC. I can't recall seeing anything. Let's check out your Instagram. Nice. Is that kind of tie-dye aesthetic? It looks good, mate. Yeah, very nice. It's funny because you've seen a lot in the tie-dye. A lot, you know, it's been a bit of a trend, a bit of a popular theme, but you guys have nailed the aesthetic. Liking the look of your crest as well. The numbers are really cool. Excellent. Really, really good. Really, really good. Yeah, 10 out of 10. No comments. What was it people say? Whatever. 10 out of 10. Honestly, looks really good, mate. Looks really good. Right. Wow. I need to go and have a beer or some sort of drink. That was fun. That was fun. We don't have many auctions like that. We don't have many big purchases like that, at least live. So I'm glad I could share that with you guys. I will, of course, again, as I said, keep you posted with if the shirt is real. I think it is, but we'll see. But I think we'll sign off there. Cheers to your pickup. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. And thank you, guys. It's been fun. Great to see some returning faces, some names I've not seen for quite a few weeks, and a few new guys as well. Thanks for hanging out. If you've been lurking in the background and just, like, you know, not said anything, that's great as well. Thanks for choosing to have the stream open. It really does mean a lot, guys. I know, you know, this channel, we're not the most active at the moment, and it's kind of, you know, I know, again, I wish I was doing more here regularly, and for various reasons I've not been able to, but these streams have just been amazing. I've enjoyed that regular opportunity just to hang out for an hour, and just having your support is what it's all about. So thank you so much. And yeah, we got a big win tonight. I'm trying to temper expectations. You can see I'm excited, I'm sure, but yeah. That is big. That is big. Thank you, Andreas. Enjoy your time in the Netherlands. Enjoy the Go Ahead Eagles match. That's really cool. That is really cool. Yeah, look forward to hearing about that. But thank you, guys. It has been a lot of fun, and we got a big win. Yeah, man. I mean, maybe it's kind of a bit you know, what's the word? Exaggerated, but that is potentially a holy grail picked up for half the price of what you'd expect to pay. Very, very happy indeed. Good stuff. I will be back for the Hot Wall next week, all being well. And then I think we'll sneak in an eBay stream. Let me just check the calendar. Oh, you know what? I won't be. So, sorry, I've just checked the calendar. I'm going to be away. So, this actually will be the last eBay stream for a few weeks. It's probably a good thing after I just bought that shirt. I'll post about it on Twitter. And indeed, patrons will know more. I'll share more specifics. But anyway, thank you guys. It's been fun. And yeah, it's been a big night. I will see you very soon. For another video or a stream, or I'll be on Twitter, of course, and I'm sure I'll chat with many of you. Until then, all the best, and see you on the other side.